This is Teacher Anna, a grade school faculty member in a medium-sized private school handling 8 online classes, with 50 students each. However, these classes are not of the same subject since teachers in the K-12 levels are usually expected to teach students in several learning areas, which could also be different from their field of specialization. Because of this, Anna needs to do an extensive research about the subjects assigned to her, so she could prepare her instructional materials well, while also allocating time for her other administrative duties such as computing grades, preparing reports, and the like. According to the Department of Education, teachers spend at least 2 hours per day for these tasks, which sum up to around 400 hours of preparation time for the entire school year. But if there is only one set of competencies issued by DepEd, by which our students are to be measured, then why can't we have a single set of instructional materials, coupled with auto-graded assessments, and interactive and gamified learning activities that teachers coming from different schools around the country can use to effectively reduce their workload and free up much of their time for their family and personal lives? We bring you Cerebro, an e-learning solution that comes with ready-made instructional contents that teachers can just pull out from the platform to jumpstart their online teaching, and even interactive simulations that provide realistic virtual laboratory experiments to keep students engaged with learning the fun way. A video conferencing integration is also available, so teachers can easily start synchronous sessions right within the platform, while students with connectivity issues can download the printable modules so they can continue learning even when they are offline. School administrators can monitor what's happening in their virtual campus, examine the system's usage data, and determine end users' performance. Parents can see their children's activity scores and check their login times as well. So, if you are looking for the best solution for making teaching easier for all, schedule a call with our e-learning specialist now.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the first episode of Cerebro Talks. My name is Novelim, and I will be your host for today's episode. Now, we will see each other quite often from now on because this program brought to you by Cerebro will feature professionals in various sectors every month to help students like you form career paths in industries represented by our guests. This will be a very jam-packed hour since you will also be informed of our guests' advocacies, which you might also find interesting. Let's find that out later. So if you have anyone in mind whom you think has a great story to share or an advocacy perhaps worth noting, please do not hesitate to send us a message on our Facebook page at Cerebro LMS. It's not every day that we get to talk about who we want to be when we grow up, right? But we hope that through this webinar, we will be able to give you ideas to jumpstart your career mapping today and even mental health tips since, spoiler alert, our guest this afternoon works on that field. But before we start, I would like to give a quick shout out to our viewers right now. Hello, everyone. We would like to acknowledge our viewers from our social media channels on Facebook and YouTube, as well as especially our LMS subscribers who are joining us directly from their Cerebro platforms. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. And if you happen to come across this discussion, kindly give us a shout out in the comments, and you may also share our video. We'll appreciate that. And I know you're all excited to hear from our resource person for today. But before we proceed with that, let us first learn about the company and product information of Cerebro. We want to learn what Cerebro is and what problem is it trying to solve. So to present that, we have the CEO of Cerebro himself, Mr. Justin Itugot. Good afternoon, Sir Justin.
Good afternoon, Ms. Novi. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And thanks also to those who are watching us on our social media channels and on the LMS platform. So I'm here to discuss a little bit about what Cerebro is, what is our advocacy, and what are we doing to help students and teachers and even school administrators to accomplish their tasks as we are being educated in the new normal. So let me just share with you some information about what we are doing right now. So, good day everyone. I'm Justin and I'm the CEO of Cerebro. We are a group of teachers who aim to revolutionize teaching by allowing our fellow educators, both young and seniors alike, to jumpstart e-learning amidst the pandemic and make teaching in the new normal an enjoyable passion and not just a stressful job that could give them thoughts about leaving their careers. Just to give you some sort of a user story, this is teacher Anna, a grade school faculty member in a medium-sized private school, handling 8 online classes with 50 students each. However, these classes are not of the same subject since teachers in the elementary level are expected to teach students in several learning areas, which could also be different from the teacher's field of specialization. And because of this, Anna needs to do an extensive research about the subjects assigned to her so she could prepare her instructional materials well, while also allocating time for other administrative duties such as computing grades, preparing reports, and the like. Based on the data from the Department of Education, a teacher spends at least 2 hours per day for these tasks, which sum up to around 400 hours of preparation time for the entire school year. And this number has just doubled during the COVID-19 pandemic, since teachers were required to produce a year's worth of digital material so that their schools can get certified for online learning. So for those in the private school sector, I know you're familiar with DepEd Order number 13 series of 2020 issued by DepEd June last year. And we could only imagine how stressful it is to be a teacher. And what else could we feel if we realize that this problem also becomes a pain point among school administrators after seeing a great number of private school teachers who resigned from their jobs just last year. With this, schools are also losing billions just to train new hires whom they also cannot ensure if these teachers could withstand the pressure even for just a semester. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies also notes that such heavy workload of teachers has a significant effect on the quality of education, leading us to rank 79th out of the 79 countries who took the program for international student assessment in the year 2018. Just last week, we have seen from the news the report from the World Bank saying that almost 80% of Filipino students are not competent enough with regards to the competencies expected from them within their respective grade levels. So that is the problem that we are trying to solve. Then we came to realize that if there is only one set of competencies issued by DepEd by which our students are to be measured, then why can't we have a single set of instructional materials coupled with auto-graded assessments and interactive and gamified learning activities that we could share with teachers coming from different schools throughout the country to effectively reduce their workload and free up much of their time for their family and personal lives. Basically, our solution comes with ready-made instructional contents that teachers can just pull out from our platform to jumpstart their online teaching, and even interactive simulations that provide realistic virtual laboratory experiments that will keep students engaged with learning the fun way. In addition, school administrators can also monitor what's happening in their learning management system and determine the system's usage data and the end user's performance. You might be thinking that there are already other market players out there and that we might be a new name when it comes to e-learning. But our initial set of clients were willing to switch to our solution and even gave us positive feedback that helped us gain early stage traction against the other widely used brands. In our first 17 months, since we pivoted from becoming an academic support provider to becoming a full-time e-learning provider, we have continuously strived to develop our competitive edge, and we would like to further expand our reach so more schools will learn about our advantage in terms of curriculum alignment, ease of registration, and value for money. There are over 1.2 teachers in the Philippines who could benefit from our solution, and among this number, 300,000 are from the private school sector who do not enjoy access to the government's learning resource system. 11,000 teachers are in the province of Cavite, where we have already tested our product, since 76% of the schools here are privately owned. Sadly, there are about 865 private schools who had no choice but to close down during the pandemic just because they were not able to prepare digital materials and meet DepEd's minimum requirements for online learning. And this led to over 4,000 teachers losing their jobs and nearly 60,000 students who were either forced to transfer to other schools or to temporarily stop their education. At present, 10 schools with a combined total of about 8,000 users have subscribed to Cerebro at an institutional level, where 6 schools are from the province of Cavite and 4 are from other areas who serve as our test markets for their respective provinces in Metro Manila and Cebu. And this year, we are expecting a 2 times increase in the number of institutional clients that we have after we have received very positive feedback from our early stage adopters. a good 75% of our team is composed of licensed professional teachers. So our solution is something that is crafted by teachers for our fellow teachers. And we don't think that the other LMS providers have the same experience from the field that we have, since we ourselves felt how it really is to be a teacher from the ground. We have already received several recognitions. First, we were hailed among the top 12 winners of the Idea Space Acceleration Program for the year 2020. Idea Space is a non-profit startup accelerator under the MVP group of companies, led by Mr. Manny V. Pangilinan as the chairman of the board. We were also among the top 20 rescue startups versus COVID-19 of Cuba Innovation Hub for solving an urgent problem during the pandemic, especially in the education sector. Kubo is a public-private partnership among Ideaspace, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Science and Technology, and the JP Morgan Foundation. And just recently, we were chosen to be one of the incubatees of the DOST Tomasino Center, the technology business incubator of the University of Santo Tomas in partnership with the Department of Science and Technology. Basically, individual teachers who are engaged in lesson planning or even parents who would like their children to learn their lessons in advance may directly register on our website and start accessing our materials there for free, while educational administrators may also opt to avail a paid monthly subscription at an institutional level so they can ensure a standardized quality of learning for their whole school. As for the price, our premium plans are actually 3 times lower than that of traditional textbooks. So overall, Cerebro is a cost-effective solution for jumpstarting online learning. So if you are a school owner or an administrator in Cavite, NCR, Central Luzon, or Central Visayas, or you know of anyone who might be looking for a solution that will help address problems on faculty workload and e-learning compliance for the new normal, connect with us so we can discuss how we can be partners in helping your educators to teach smart and live smart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Justin, for sharing about how Cerebro helps teachers to jumpstart online teaching with the least preparation possible, allowing them to save up to 400 hours of preparation time per year. How is that even possible? Well, only through Cerebro's ready-made course presentations, auto-graded quizzes with question bank, interactive simulations, and printable modules that will benefit students, teachers, school administrators, and even parents alike. And speaking of gaining benefits, have you ever wondered how beneficial it is to practice wellness in our everyday lives, especially during this pandemic? How can one really monitor their mental health? What's healthy in this situation, and how do you know if it's concerning? These are topics that we don't usually bring up at home or at school, but it's important to be informed about our mental health. So we have invited a guest to answer these questions. I actually had quite a hard time summarizing her credentials because there's just too much to mention about her contributions to the psychology community. But let me try my best to introduce this person. She's a licensed professional teacher, a registered psychometrician, a registered guidance counselor, and a registered psychologist. Indeed, sky's the limit when it comes to our dreams, kids. So she earned her bachelor's degree in psychology at Philippine Women's University, and in 2009 she finished her Master of Arts in Industrial Education, major in administration and supervision. And then she then studied some more at De La Salle University Dasmariñas for Doctor of Philosophy, major in counseling psychology with concentration in community counseling, where she also now works as a part-time faculty member in DLSUD's College of Education Graduate School. And to add up, she is the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences and Education of University of Perpetual Health System Delta Molino campus, and also helps people as a psychologist for MindSpeaks Psychological Clinic and as a part-time consultant for PowerVision EAP or Employee Assistance Program. She contributes to the community even more through her research works, um, which are published locally and even internationally. And if you would like to read her research work, you may start with USAL, a counseling Innovation for Teenage Depression, which is published by Academic Publishing in Brooklyn, New York. Actually, there's a lot of research work. I guess you can just ask her later on. Anyway, we are just so honored to have this amazing person with us today. Please help me welcome Dr. Myla Pilar Pamplona. Hello, Doc
Hello.
Miles. Hello,
Hello.
Doc
Good
Miles.
afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Novi, for that very generous introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with Cerebro.
How are you today, Doc Miles?
I'm feeling great because I'll be advocating my first love, which is mental health.
Oh, we are just so touched to hear that from you. And at the moment, Dean, we might have quite a handful of students watching us right now, and maybe they're wondering how did you become a psychologist slash guidance counselor slash RPM slash licensed professional teacher. So let me just ask, as a child, did you have any recollection of dreaming to be working in the mental health field?
Okay, I don't have a dream actually to become a psychologist. I remember during those times, I don't really know what psychology is and what is it all about. Okay, so commonly children my age they wanted to become a teacher. So there is a hint already that I'll be working in the school setting. But when I became a high school student, no, that's the first time I was introduced to homeroom guidance. I was able to meet guidance counselors, and they helped us with our career choice. I think during that time, I wanted to become a journalist, no, because I really wanted to write, no. So I did pursue that when I was in college. No, I took up mass communications during the first year, no, at PWU. But I have a change of heart during my major, no, kasi during that time, dalawa ang major ng Bachelor of Arts, no, either mass communication or psychology. So I choose the latter during the when I was taking major subjects already. So the rest is history. I fell in love with psychology. I took up my master's and my PhD also to become licensed in practicing counseling and psychotherapy. And I'm very happy that I have chosen psychology as a course, and I'm happy helping young people um, and other people, even adults, even children, in doing counseling and psychotherapy.
Wow. Actually, that's an eye opener, Doc Miles, because we might have students who are low key panicking because at the moment they have no definite dreams yet.
Yeah.
So we are taking it from Doc Miles that over time you will get to, the more that you explore, you will get to know who you want to be in the future. So just relax, guys. And
Okay.
another question that we have, Doc Miles, is speaking of career, do you think it's important to start mapping your career at an early age or as early as high school, as early as grade school?
Yes, for me, it's really very important. No, when I was the head of the student services, no, I witnessed a number of students shifting from one course to another, no, because they were not prepared for their career and they did not know, no, what they want to do in the future. And sometimes, no, as Filipinos, no, in our culture, sometimes we dilly dally or we tend to look into our careers no later on with our life. So I have one question that I often ask my students. No, the question is, what will you do if someone will give you 1 million pesos? Okay, Novi. So let
Ooh.
us ask our audience. No, this time,
Yes.
with no
Actually,
strings attached. Yeah, with no strings attached. What will you do if someone will give you 1 million?
oh, let's wait for our audiences to type in their answers. At the moment, I am reading our comments and we have quite a lot dropping their greetings. So, hello, good afternoon, Eunice. Good afternoon, Leslie, Bam, Sarah, and Maria Divina. Hello, good afternoon to you guys. And can you please answer Doc Miles' question? What was that?
Yeah.
What was that, Doc Miles? If you
What
have
will you
what?
do if someone will give you 1 million pesos? No strings
Hmm.
attached, okay?
Okay, let's see if they. Oh, we have an answer from Bam Smith. I will purchase a small land and do farming or planting.
That's
Wow,
great.
that's a great plan.
Yeah.
How about the
Okay.
others?
How about the others?
I guess it's really a tough question because it's hard to imagine having 1 million for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, I guess. Ayan, for Maria, hindi ko po tatanggapin, sabi niya. Bakit?
Natatakot siguro siya, no? Kasi nga
Oo
1 million
nga po.
pesos, no?
Oh, and
So,
also we have one from Eunice Doc Miles.
yeah,
I will invest to put up business.
that's good. That's a good choice.
Do we have a right or wrong answer for this one, Doc
No, no right
Miles?
or wrong answers, but this is the catch here, okay? So, if you will not plan early, if you will not plan early, you will earn your first 1 million by the age of 60, okay? So, that's too late already. So, that's why early planning, early mapping of your career is very important. No? We need to prepare for it so that we'll be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor in the early stages of our youth. Okay, so
Wow,
plan
that
early, and when you choose a career, go for it and look for the skills that you must have, to be able to pursue that career in the future.
Such a nice reminder, Doc Miles. I'll just have a quick scan to some of the answers of our audiences. We have Sarah, I'll start a business. We have Yam telling us I will get a life insurance for each of my family. What a lucky family. We also have
Yeah,
one from Leslie. I'll study again, fine arts or architecture, and start a business with my family. Thank you so much, guys, for being participative. And we
yeah.
might
Thank
have
you.
questions. Yes, and we might have questions later on, pa. So stay tuned. Could you tell us more about what you do, Doc Miles? Which part of your job is the most stressful? Which are the parts that you enjoy the most? Are there rewards, tangible and intangible rewards to your job?
Okay, presently, I think Novi introduced me a while ago. I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences and Education in the University of Perpetual Help Molino. I also teach in the graduate school of De La Salle and PWU, and also a consultant of an employee assistant program company. And of course, I'm the psychologist and owner of MindSpeaks Psychological Clinic. So I have many advocacies actually. One is making people aware about mental health, especially in the barangay level. No? So that is why talking about mental health in a forum such as this is really a good venue for me to advocate. Historically speaking, we are among the few countries who had a mental health bill, to address the issues and concerns. No? Just recently, last 2018, the president signed the mental health bill into law. No? That is why there is still stigma about mental health, and there is still a long journey for us who are advocating for mental health. Another advocacy that I really want to talk about is the mental health of the young people or the adolescents. No? My dissertation entitled USAL, A Counseling Innovation for Teenage Depression, looks deeply on the depressive symptoms of adolescents and how we as parents, the school, or even friends, can help people um, experiencing depression. And I like working with young people, no, because they have a different way of expressing depression. No. Commonly, adults will be more into the lonely side. No. They wanted to sleep, they are lonely, they want to isolate. But the adolescents, they are more into expressing it by being irritable. Sometimes they are delinquent. No? So the parents are really thinking that the change in their children is somewhat astonishing. Like if they are good students before, no, and become delinquent, no, not knowing that delinquency may be a symptom of depression.
Yeah, oftentimes they say na nagiinarte lang,
Yeah.
ganon. Kaya
Yes. Yes,
okay.
that's it.
So that's so nice to hear about your advocacy, Dean. In terms of your work as a psychologist, what would you say the most rewarding part of it?
So I really love handling clients. Okay,
Mm-mm.
so I love helping them focus on their thoughts. There are four areas I look into: the thought content, which is the unawa. I look also to the symptoma, which is the physical symptoms. I look into the asal or the behavior, and luha for emotion. So usal is a counseling
So
approach.
that's
Yes,
Usal.
that's usal.
Okay.
No? In
That's
assessing
so
my
unique.
clients, no, I love to look into into the four areas. on where I can focus where I can focus the counseling session or the therapy session. So I
That
use
looks
also many tools, Novi.
that looks like a very complex process, Doc Miles, but and that might be adding up to the schedule that you have. You have a lot
Yeah.
of roles to play, and maybe we also have teachers right now who are also parents at home. So can you share with them, Doc Miles, how do you keep your sane? How do you keep yourself sane during these
Yeah.
times when everything is uncertain? Do you have anxieties? Do you have unhealthy thoughts? How do you deal with them?
I think everybody, experience anxiety, especially during the year 2020, when we are caught off guard, by the magnitude of the COVID-19 pandemic. I believe that everybody experienced, like what David Kessler, a psychologist, who is an expert in grief, he called it collective loss. So one way or another, we have lost something, because of the pandemic. Not only loved ones, not only our jobs, but the routine that we do every day is also a loss. So I also experience anxiety, because it's the first time, in my 47 years of existence that there is a pandemic going on. It's just that the Filipino spirit is really resilient. No? Meron tayong resiliency. No? Having, I think, 25 typhoons, no? An average of 25 typhoons every year. No? Yung resiliency talaga ng Filipinos is just there. No? We need to really adapt. And now, we are now in the, I think, we will be in the second year, on March 2022, on the
Yes.
pandemic, So, one tip is to be connected. Be connected, with your family, with your friends, and we are now using social media in a positive sense, because we kept on connecting with our loved ones or friends, even though there is really a difference between face to face and online engagement, but still we can connect, with loved ones. It's very important. And I think I'll be discussing more on putting routine, putting the certainty back in your uncertainty. I'll be discussing how to do it, with our young people and students who are listening this time. So myself, I engage more with my family. We had our family devotion, every night, because of the pandemic. We are all staying at home. And what else? We are a family who is very much into spirituality. We pray as a family, and then I think uh, we need to find meaning on what is happening to us. Finding meaning will make us more motivated to still do productive activities even though we are in the midst of a pandemic.
That really put things in perspective, Dean. So,
Yes.
for our viewers who have not caught that on, Doc Miles is telling us to try to be connected. So, try to make use of the social media in the positive sense. Try to connect with friends, even though we are living in uncertain times. How about for our audiences right now? Um, you might have activities that you like to do to
Yeah.
keep yourself sane during these times, and maybe Doc Miles have not mentioned that, and we might get use of it. So kindly comment them down below. What are the things that keep you sane this year or during the pandemic? We would love to hear that from you. And then later on, Dean, I would like to hear some tips or maybe the best practices that you can share to our students about their mental health and how you will encourage them to share your advocacies with others. Let's hear more about that. But we will just take a short break.
Okay.
This is Teacher Anna, a grade school faculty member in a medium-sized private school handling 8 online classes, with 50 students each. However, these classes are not of the same subjects since teachers in the K-12 levels are usually expected to teach students in several learning areas, which could also be different from their field of specialization. Because of this, Anna needs to do an extensive research about the subjects assigned to her, so she could prepare her instructional materials well, while also allocating time for her other administrative duties such as computing grades, preparing reports, and the like. According to the Department of Education, teachers spend at least 2 hours per day for these tasks, which sum up to around 400 hours of preparation time for the entire school year. But if there is only one set of competencies issued by DepEd, by which our students are to be measured, then why can't we have a single set of instructional materials, coupled with auto-graded assessments, and interactive and gamified learning activities that teachers coming from different schools around the country can use to effectively reduce their workload and free up much of their time for their family and personal lives? We bring you Cerebro, an e-learning solution that comes with ready-made instructional contents that teachers can just pull out from the platform to jumpstart their online teaching, and even interactive simulations that provide realistic virtual laboratory experiments to keep students engaged with learning the fun way. A video conferencing integration is also available, so teachers can easily start synchronous sessions right within the platform, while students with connectivity issues can download the printable modules so they can continue learning even when they are offline. School administrators can monitor what's happening in their virtual campus, examine the system's usage data, and determine end users' performance. Parents can see their children's activity scores and check their login times as well. So, if you are looking for the best solution for making teaching easier for all, schedule a call with our e-learning specialist now.
And we are back. Doc Miles, I have seen that most of your work experience is in the school setting. So,
Yes.
working with students, working with teachers and school admins, and upon observing them, what will be your tips or best practices on mental health?
Okay, so yes, I'm working really in the school setting. And I know and witness many of our students, not only students but also teachers, being affected by the pandemic. So, many schools also reported increased cases for the past 6 months, no, of students having difficulty coping, they experience anxiety during online classes, or even loneliness and depression. So let us talk about uncertainty, okay? So biologically speaking, our brain wanted things done routinely. No? Gustong-gusto niya yung mga routines. No? The more it is certain and in control, the more our brain works smoothly and efficiently. So when the pandemic came, the routine, no, that we put in our lives were disrupted. No? The brain was confused, anxious, and afraid. That is why we experience a surge in our mental health cases. No? So these are some tips I would like to give our young people, our teachers, and even the parents. Okay. So number one is put in place a routine, no, which you find comfortable to you. No? This coming school year, no, practice healthy habits like sleeping early so that you will be alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic during classes. Another tip is pajamas off. No? Okay. Always take a shower after breakfast and put on another set of clothes. No? If it is your uniform, the better. No? But take off your pajamas, no? Because it will make you want to go back to sleep and you will be groggy the whole day. Okay, so pajamas off. Next is less screen time. It is also recommended, no? Because the blue rays, no, coming from our computers, based on a study, may cause difficulty in our sleeping patterns. No? Next, another is less social media, especially if you are irritated with the post. No, you must be aware of what is happening, but not too much that it robs you of your peace of mind. Okay, next is breathing. No? Breathing exercise is very important. It gives you the chance to focus and to be in control. So like what I said before, be connected. No? If it is with your family members or friends, no, it will be good for you. And depression kasi has an isolation feature. Gustong-gusto ng depression that you feel isolated, you don't want to talk to anybody. So when you feel that way, no, that's the time you will be connected more. Okay? And next is prayer. Be spiritually connected. So I have read many articles, no, about the positive effects of spirituality in this pandemic. So it's very important, no, that you engage in spiritual activities, you attend online mass or church service, no, because really there are many realizations, no. I have many realizations, and these are just some of it, no. Family is really the most important unit of society. So during the lockdown period, we don't have a choice but to be with our family. Another realization is health is really wealth. If you are healthy this moment, you are blessed. Because we know it's really hard to be sick during this time. And you will be spending a lot of money to be able to get your health back. So if you are healthy this moment, you are blessed. No? And what else? Clothes and stuff are not the most important after all. When you are working from home, new clothes, shoes, and bags are not that important. And number four of my realization, learning really is a continuous process. With pandemic or no pandemic, we need to continue our flexible learning modes. If you have a very good connectivity, you engage in online learning. If you don't have that connectivity, that strong connectivity, there is a modular approach in learning. So there are many things that you can apply so that learning will continue and you can still do productive activities, even though we are not yet through with the COVID-19 effect in our lives.
That's such a long list, Doc Miles. But the good thing about it is it's there's no money involved actually. It's these
Yes.
are just simple things that you can do at home.
Yes.
And to do a recap of that, Doc Miles shared with us some tips such as creating routines, not wearing your pajamas but really dressing up for the day, less
Yes.
screen time, less social media, breathing exercises, be connected, and also through prayers. So maybe our audiences right now are practicing this exercises. So maybe you can share with us which of these are you using, which of these
Yeah.
are very much helpful to you. We'd like to hear your thoughts. And also, Dean, Doc Miles, maybe this will also be the best time to introduce the services of MindSpeaks Psychological Clinic, since
Yeah.
we are talking about mental health tips. How do we get in touch if one is interested to seek help, and also what will be the procedure in order to be admitted to the or in order to avail the services?
Okay, so that is also one of our advocacy. So I would like to tell people that mental health is really very important. I heard many psychologists saying physical health will not be possible without a good, healthy mindset. Okay, so help is available. We have National Center for Mental Health also and Cavite Center for Mental Health. Uh, you can look uh, you can look them up in our Google or Facebook page. And also we have MindSpeaks, no? The psychological clinic that I also put up, to be able to answer the needs of the community in terms of mental health. So we have many services like mental status examination. I'm using OSAL in doing assessment of my clients. We also have counseling because I am a registered counselor. And I can also do psychotherapy because I am also a psychologist. So we also have webinars and workshops for those who wanted to know more about USAL as a counseling approach. If you are a registered guidance counselor or a psychologist, we are encouraging you, to attend the workshop of USAL. It is an approach that can help you in handling your clients. We also have consultation services, for companies who wanted to integrate mental health in terms of addressing the needs of their mental health needs of their employees.
Okay, that's a lot of services, but the good thing is they are available. And actually, right now, contact
Yeah,
details for MindSpeak Psychological Clinic is on our screen, so you may take a
yeah.
screenshot or perhaps take note of it, as well as their services. It's also flashed here. And we had a question a while ago, Doc Miles, di ba? Kung
Okay.
ano po yung mga tips nila na ginawa dun sa binigay nyo, or maybe they will add up. So we
Okay.
have actually here from Miss Alay. Sleeping early is one
Yeah,
of her
very good.
tips. Yeah, that's
Very
nice.
good.
Thumbs up from Doc Miles. And also we have one from Miss Leslie. Reading books and articles, watching movies or any
That's
series,
good.
enrolling to any online course for self-development and exploring, and also TikTok.
Okay.
That makes two of us, Miss
Yeah.
Leslie. So
Yeah.
that's just some of the comments, and maybe
So
we
I
would
agree
all,
with the Novi. I agree with the
yes,
early
sleeping
the sleeping
early.
early is very good. So to be able to have a good mental condition, no, there are two things, no, that we do that can really help. No, is sleeping well and eating well. Okay. So when you have a mental health condition, these are the two things, no, that will be greatly affected. No, you'll be your sleeping patterns will be affected, and your eating habits also. No, so these are
Oh,
two very important. Thank you for sharing that, and also of course doing hobbies, no, the things you like, no, but not too much screen time. Okay, that you
yes.
will sleep 5 a.m. already or 6 a.m. already. Okay.
Masakit din po yun sa ulo.
Masakit din sa
And
ulo yung mga Korean novela natin and other series.
yes. And we also
Okay.
have from Miss Alay, an addition to it is unwind din kapag may time
Yeah,
po.
tama.
Yes,
You go
but
to
practice,
places, so
yes,
practice.
yeah, practice social distancing, and also yung safety precautions po natin kasi
Yes.
the virus is still there. And last, we have from Bam, make yourself busy with activities worthy to do, like cooking, embroidery, and planting. We have a
Yeah, that's
plantita
good.
or plantito spotted
That's
here
good.
on our live stream. And we have
Yes.
a last question, Doc Miles, because for
Okay.
our students watching right now, or maybe adult viewers who would want to shift careers, if one would be interested to work in the same field as you, what will be the skills that our students or our viewers should have, or something that they can work on as early as now?
Okay, so skills can be learned, okay? Especially if you have writing skills, that's a plus, no? Because you will be doing a lot of psychological reports and
Mm.
analytical skills, no? When you analyze results of tests, no? Either projective test or standardized test, no? But I have 4 P's for them, okay? Not only the skill, but your character is very important, no? I have 4 P's. Number one is Novi, patience. No?
Patience.
You need to have patience for the things that you want, okay? So patience is being fueled by hope, and whatever you want, no, if you work hard for it, it will become more meaningful to you. So based on my journey with psychology, if I don't have patience, I will not be able to get all my licenses, okay? So patience helped me to what? To wait patiently, no, and be able to look into the will of God for me, especially that I am now practicing. The next P is passion. Okay, what do you really like to do? Okay, so I am in my best. No? I am in my best self. No, every time I do counseling and therapy with my clients, and when I do research, no, and my passion really keeps me going. Kasi nga, I love what I do. I'm happy on the things I'm doing. That's why I think passion is very important. No? Number three is perseverance. No? So when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, no, your perseverance will motivate you to finish what you have started. No? It's been my goal or my motto in life that I will finish what I have started. So if you are a student and you wanted to learn more and you started your journey, your academic journey, when you start it, you have to finish it. If you are a teacher doing your masteral studies, your PhD, I know it's quite hard now, but when you start it, you have to finish it so that you would see the results of your hard work. And number four, praise and worship. No? I cannot imagine a life without God. So I always tell this to my colleagues. No, He is my secret weapon. No? Jesus is my secret weapon. Every time I come to church and praise Him and worship Him, I am recharged, no, and refueled to face another week. No, handling clients, talking to students, addressing concerns on the learning modalities. No, and also my advocacies and vocation. No? These are all my living sacrifice for Him. And I am fully convinced, no, that He called me to become a counselor and psychologist. And based on my experience, no, when you have found your purpose in life, your existence will be more meaningful and happier than before. Okay, so these are the four: patience, passion,
Passion.
perseverance, and of course, praise and worship.
Wow. Very much prepared si Doc
Mhm.
Miles sa ano natin, meron talagang pa-acronym, but
Yes.
actually it's very easy to remember as well. So for our students who would want to pursue psychology, which starts with letter P as well, you need
Yeah.
patience, passion, perseverance, praise and worship. So that's it. But that's it for our last question, but our day does not end right now without us entertaining your questions. So maybe you
Okay.
have questions right now, you can drop them in on our live stream comments. We have from Miss Ali. How many years of studying did you have po?
Okay, so I will go through the history of my journey. Thank you. It's Alay or Ali. Okay. So I finished my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology for 4 years. I think that's
Four.
1994. That was 1994. No? Malalaman nyo na yung edad ko, okay? So,
Age reveal.
1994, yeah. I took up diplomate in journalism eh. Kasi nga, di ba, I
Up.
mentioned, I think earlier that I really want to become a journalist. No? So, that's the time that I'm still confused on what I really wanted to pursue. No? So, when I took up journalism, hindi naman ako ganun kasaya. So, I took my master's no, at the UP. So dahil nga tayo ay ano no, yun nga ating financial constraints no. So I took up masters in education in TUP. No, but I really plan to go back to psychology. So I finished 2009 no. If you take masters in psychology, mga ganun din no. So siguro I started 2000 or 2002 no. 2002 then I finished 2009. So ilang years na 'yon? Tagal no.
Seven,
Yes,
7 years.
yes. So I started my PhD in 2010 and finished it at 2018. So that is 8 years. Okay. So it's a long journey, Ali, because I'm already a mom and I'm also working. So I just took a few units, no, 9 units, 6 units. So if you are doing that, the experience is really longer. No? But if you have the resources, no, to really support your studies, hindi naman ganun katagal. But for me, no, based on my experience, lalo na sa PhD, it's a long journey because you will have supervision, a 1 year supervision, no,
Oh,
handling clients, and then after your supervision, that's the time you'll be able to finish your or write your dissertation. So my data gathering is 1 year for my dissertation. No, because it's a multiple case design. Okay, so that's why medyo mahaba yung journey. Kaya nga, tama yung 4 P's ko, di ba?
yeah.
You need
Patience. Kaya po pala
patience.
number one yung patience.
Yeah, I'm very patient, especially with my clients, no?
So
Kasi
to
nga,
answer
syempre,
Miss So to answer Miss Ali, a lot of years ang
yeah.
ang tinake ni Doc Miles. We also have one from Miss Charmaine. I'm a shy person po. Can I still be fit to be a psychologist or counselor?
Yes.
Interesting
Yes, of
question.
course. Yes, of course. Okay.
Yes, of course. That's our
Yeah.
answer
So,
for you, Miss Charmaine.
yeah, you must have that 4. Okay, and
And
sometimes, yeah, Novi, even though you're shy, your love for what you're doing can allow you to get out of your shell and advocate and talk and share your experience, no? And you will find out na it's not really terrifying to talk in front of many people. No? So if you want to talk about your shyness, no, I'm available and I can really help you. And we have
yes,
many activities no, to overcome shyness.
and maybe
Okay.
that's also one way to find what you're really passionate about. So if hindi ka na tatakot o nahihiya na pag-usapan ang bagay na to, maybe that's your passion. So that's just an idea. And we also have one from Miss Leslie. How would you know po if you are actually experiencing depression na po, or is it just a feeling na lilipas lang po after an hour, a day, or a month?
That's a good question. Very good question. Okay. So we often hear the word depression when our friend will tell us, ay, depressed kasi ako ngayon. No? But depression is more than that. So I have been studying depression for quite some time. because that's my dissertation. Okay, there are four areas to look into depression. Number one is dysphoric mood. If you are moody or irritable for 3 months to 6 months to 1 year, no, the length is very important. Okay, if you are experiencing it for more than 6 months, it may go on clinical depression. Okay, number two is negative self-evaluation. So you look into yourself very negatively. You are telling yourself it's my fault because I'm not enough. No? Number three is anhedonia or lack of pleasure. You notice that you find those things that you find pleasurable before, you don't have any pleasure now. No? You don't like to go to movies. You don't like to talk. You are always lonely. You are irritable. And last is physical symptoms. No? If you cannot sleep well, you cannot eat well, wala kang gana. No? These two, no, yung eating habits and sleeping patterns will make the depressive symptoms more severe through time. Okay, so if you have these symptoms, these four symptoms, you need to seek help immediately because early detection is better. No? Early detection is better. Based on my experience, you will be having better prognosis if you are able to early detect your symptoms. Go to a counselor, talk about it, go to psychologist, never keep it a secret. Okay? No, because saying it or connecting with people or connecting with a psychologist will make your symptoms better. No? The earlier, the better. Ganun din naman sa mga physical, sa
Yes
ating
po.
physical health, mas maagang na-detect yung mga symptoms, mas madali tayong gagaling. Ganun din sa mental health. So those are the four. If you're experiencing 3 months, 6 months to 1 year, please seek help because help is available.
Thank you for that informative comment, Doc Miles. And actually, we have another question here, but I don't know
Okay.
if I should read it out loud. It's quite personal, but the question is, um, she or he is diagnosed with such autoimmune disorder and looking forward to work. Any advice for me what work is suitable? I'm a former educator from primary to tertiary here and abroad. I'm worried if I will pursue the academe, bawal ako ma-stress at ma-depress
Yeah.
according to a neurologist, and medyo may depressive feelings siya ngayon and di siya sanay na walang work. So torn between working and not working itong ating viewer, Doc
Yeah.
Miles.
Because the autoimmune disease is very serious. It is exacerbated by stress and a lot of work. So my advice is I think part-time work will be good, wherein you will just teach few units or few students, no? But still you can do productive work. Prioritization of the things you like to do is will also help. No? You need to manage your time well because having a condition is not the end of it. How you manage it, how you make your life still active. No? Kahit mga part-time lang, no? Wag ka lang masyadong magpapa-stress kasi nga nagpapalala siya nung condition. Pero working, still engaging with work, with kahit part-time siguro will help you.
Yes,
Okay?
and we wish you luck. Sana makahanap po kayo ng part-time job. I think madami naman po ngayon, lalo po remote
Yes, lalo na
work
ngayon,
po,
remote.
no?
Oo.
Kasi sa
Mhm.
pandemic.
Saka
Good
ano
luck
lang,
po.
kailangan lang kakain siya mabuti. You need to eat well and sleep well. Okay?
Yes.
So sometimes kasi when we are driven sa pag-work natin, sometimes we go beyond our sleeping time.
Yes.
Tapos sabi ng katawan natin, I'm really so tired. Pero no, no, no. Sabi ng isip natin, we need to really work. Work, no? So sometimes the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. No? So we
Yes.
need to listen to our body. If you feel tired, you have to sleep. If you feel hungry, you need to eat. You need to take care of yourself. Okay, so
Yes.
good luck to you. God's blessing be still in your life. No? Kasi nga, you can still live a fruitful and productive life.
Yes, we believe in you. And we have last two questions here from our viewers, Doc Miles. Ano po ang
Okay?
difference between anxiety and depression? Interesting
Okay.
question.
Yes, interesting question kasi masyado rin siyang connected. No, yung anxiety and depression, they are quite connected. No, if you will be reading the Diagnostic of Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders or DSM-5, you would look there the criteria na magkaiba pala. No, pero para simple lang, okay. So yung depression, no, pag meron kang matinding depression, it is a suicidal ideation. That's why it's alarming, no? Because it can kill a person, no? Kasi nga yung suicidal ideation, may self-harm and everything, no? It will really give you a hard time, no? Kasi nga may suicidal ideation, naiisip mo na to end it all. And sometimes you plan it in your mind because you feel that depression will not go away, no? When you sleep and when you wake up, depression is there. You are very lonely, wala kang gana, napakabigat ng pakiramdam. Ganun yung depression. No? And sometimes, if you want to end it all no, by having these suicidal thoughts. No? Ang anxiety, hindi ganun. It's more on worry. You have many intrusive thoughts. Hindi pa nangyayari, naiisip mo na, lagi kang 5 steps ahead. No? Ganun naman ang anxiety. More on nakafocus siya sa worry. Ang depression nakafocus sa loneliness. No? At maraming uri rin ng anxiety, marami ring uri ng depression. And it's really interesting because it differs from person to person. Walang pareho. No, although may tawag tayo, pero yung kanyang pag-cope iba, the way he or she exhibited the symptoms are also different. No? Walang pareho, kaya never self-diagnose. Okay? Go to a counselor, go to a psychologist, go to a psychiatrist, so that you will be well assessed and diagnosed.
And we hope we answered your question, Edsel.
Yeah.
And we have last one. Paano po ba mawawala yung takot na kapag nagpa-consult ka sa isang psychologist, baliw na daw po agad?
Yeah.
Kasi most of the time, ito yung naiisip ng mga tao, kaya marami po natatakot. Thank you for using your platform to give this question kasi very timely po talaga.
Yes,
no,
this
sa
is very
Philippines.
timely. Yeah. I think I discussed a while ago, Novi and Ali, that we have a long way to go in the Philippines. No? Kasi nga yung stigma sa mga Filipinos, ito yung pumipigil sa atin to seek help no? In terms of mental health condition. Kaya nga yung mga advocacies namin, we want mental health to be discussed at home. Like, Mom, I am having depression and I'm really very lonely. And the mother will go to the barangay because counselor and psychologists are present there. Yun ang pangarap namin talaga, no? Kasi nga, it's not true that you are weak. It's not true na mababaliw ka pag pumunta ka sa psychologist at counselor. It's just that you have problems that you need someone to help you. That you need someone to talk to. Ganun lang siya. At hindi kami nagbabasa ng isip na para sabihin na, ay talaga, ito ang kanyang aura. Hindi kami mga manghuhula, okay? So, we will talk about your concern. We will talk about yourself, about you, no? And when you talk about yourself, no, we feel so great, no, because somebody is listening to us and can understand us without judgment, no? And we can be ourselves. That's our job as counselors and psychologists. No?
And what's nice about your advocacy, Doc Miles, is bringing the mental health to the barangay level. Kasi normal people can also be advocates of mental health kapag nangyari na po itong pangarap natin na ito. So maybe, Miss Alay, you can also be an ally sa aming mga mental health advocates. So you can use your platform on social media to debunk yung mga myths about depression.
Yeah, there are so many myths actually. That's why it kept people from coming to counselors and psychologists Kasi nga maraming sasabihin ng mga kapitbahay, ay alam mo yan, mga lahi ng ganito yan, no? So hindi po ganoon. Kaya nga we need to educate, we need to make people aware that mental health is real. It's just that it's the same as having diabetes or high blood pressure. Merong mga maintenance yan. Ganon din naman po ang mental health. Mental nga lang ang nature niya. Pero it's a sickness. It's an illness. Sakit po siya na kailangan gamutin. Kaya you need to go to a practitioner because help is available.
Yes, and ayun, Miss Alay is saying thank you so much. We actually have additional 2 questions. Would you want to
it's okay.
Doc Miles? Okay. Paano po ba maiwasan ang anxiety? From
Okay,
Miss Charmaine.
tuturuan ko sila ng tungkol sa anxiety. Meron kasi kaming ginagamit dyan. No? And I learned about this from my self-compassion session with psychiatrist. No? We use stop. Okay? Ano yung stop? No? Stop the thought, yung letter S. Stop the thought. Tapos letter T, take deep breaths, okay? Sa mga clients ko, tinuturuan ko sila mag-breathing exercise, no? Because your breathing is your life, okay? And once you get control of it, no, you'll be able to control also your anxiety, okay? So stop the thought, take deep breaths, then observe yourself, no? If you have seen that your the anxiety level is going down, that's the time to proceed. Letter P is proceed. Okay? You can practice stop. No? And I have many tools no, to be able to address anxiety. No? You have to be very good with breathing. Kasi yun yung nakakapag-control ng panic attacks. No? When you are panicky and you have high anxiety, you have to stay calm. Baliktad, di ba? Mahirap gawin eh.
Oo
You
nga
have
po.
to stay calm because the more you are panicky, the more you will experience palpitation, sweating, no? Minsan nahihirapan ka ng huminga, hyperventilation ka. So, we need to really practice breathing, no? And you have to do it as part of your self-care. Araw-araw siya ginagawa, 10 times a day, no? For my clients, ganun ang ginagawa nila. So that when anxiety will come to them, they know how to address it. Mag-breathing exercise lang sila, no? Hindi ko na maituro dito eh, kasi nga we have lesser time. Next time siguro, mga tools naman, no? Kasi
Yes,
nga
we would.
yung breathing exercise na ituturo naman po siya. No?
Yes, we would
To
really
address
love to learn
anxiety.
that. But if you
Okay.
would want more resources, actually, the Facebook page of MindSpeaks Psychological Clinic actually posts
Yes.
different psych trivias and also mental health tips. So you might want to give their page a like para you get updated to the latest
Yes.
happenings in psychology. And very last question. How would you deal with thoughts po na nag-worry ka po too much, then suddenly you'll cry and can't control the emotions na po without even knowing the reasons why? Oh,
So this
case
is
to
one
case
example,
basis po, di ba?
one example to na anxiety. Yung
Mm,
parang hindi niya makontrol, no? Parang panicky yung pakiramdam, no? Pero I'm very willing to listen more kasi marami pa yan eh. Kailangan niya ikwento sa akin yung buong story. When did it start? Gano'n niya nakatagal nararamdaman? What are other symptoms? No? Doon sa apat na area, sa thought content niya, sa kanyang physical symptoms, no? Sa behavior niya at saka sa emotions niya. No? So, there are features already of anxiety, but it's too soon to tell. You need to have a good assessment of the client before you can give a diagnosis. So, medyo mahirap ito kasi nag-worry siya masyado. Minsan hindi nakakatulog. Minsan ano
yes.
siya, yung parang pagkagising niya, balisa, yung nag-aalala in Tagalog, nag-aalala siya. So, how to address it, no? Please seek help no, by going to a counselor or psychologist. Maganda na nai-open mo yan ngayon. So, I'm telling you, help is available. We can help you and trust us no, that we can help you and trust also the process of therapy.
Yes, Doc Miles can't specifically answer that here on the live stream kasi iba-iba kasi siya. It will depend on the history din po, Doc, 'di ba,
Yes,
ng
maraming ano.
client kung saan
Oo.
siya anuhin. But yeah, that's it. I guess we are nearing the end of our episode, Doc Miles.
Yeah?
Thank you so much for answering the questions. Madaming questions ngayon. It seems that we really sparked a conversation on mental health this
Yes.
afternoon. So
I'm happy.
any parting message you'd like to give our viewers, Doc Miles?
Okay, I'm happy with this forum that I was able to discuss some, no, very few about mental health because it's a very wide and long topic. No? So for our students, for our teachers or administrators, or even parents who are hearing us today, uh, mental health is something that we can discuss. It's very important. Okay, and never fear, no, never fear to never be afraid no, to discuss it with somebody no, because we are here no, because mental health is not the absence of mental condition. Mental health is not the absence of mental condition. No? Kahit na may mental condition ka, it can be managed, it can be controlled, no? At gumagaling po ang mental health. No? Kaya nga, ang mental condition, kaya nga, you need to go to mental health practitioners on the early onset of your symptoms. No? It is manageable, okay? And we love to hear from you. Ako gusto ko marinig yung storya nila. No? Ano nangyari? Saan nagsimula? Ano ang triggers? Ano yung mga predisposing factors? Ano yung mga behaviors na nag-perpetuate doon sa kanyang kalagayan ngayon. So, no, because we wanted to reach you, you can reach us also. No? We want to listen to you because mental health, no, can be managed. Mental health, no, can be controlled, no, yung ating condition. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's really a good talk, Novi. No? I'm very happy with our discussion this afternoon. Okay, stay safe and healthy. Okay, so God bless all of you. God loves us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Doc Miles. We really appreciate the time you allotted for us and we hope to see you again soon.
Yes.
At sana matupad po yung ang ating advocacy na mailagay sa barangay level yung ating mga counselors and also mga psychologists para they are available for everyone.
Yes.
And actually, we have comments pa po na nasa live stream natin. Pero maybe I will just remind you na lang din to reach if you want to have a separate session with Doc Miles to talk about your experiences. You can reach out to her. Ayan, nasa screen po natin ngayon. MindSpeaks Psychological Clinic, facebook.com/mindspeaks.psych. You can just shoot them a message and they will inform you kung ano yung mga next steps. Okay?
Yeah.
And
Thank
there
you.
you have it, everyone. Thank you, Doc Miles. I guess this is
Thank
it for
you.
today's episode. This has been Novelim, and in behalf of the whole Cerebro team, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. If you'd like to feature a guest for the upcoming Cerebro Talks episodes, or perhaps a comment or a suggestion, just shoot us a message at the official Cerebro Facebook page. Bye, everyone. Be kind to your mind.
This is Teacher Anna, a grade school faculty member in a medium-sized private school handling 8 online classes, with 50 students each. However, these classes are not of the same subject since teachers in the K-12 levels are usually expected to teach students in several learning areas, which could also be different from their field of specialization. Because of this, Anna needs to do an extensive research about the subjects assigned to her, so she could prepare her instructional materials well, while also allocating time for her other administrative duties such as computing grades, preparing reports, and the like. According to the Department of Education, teachers spend at least 2 hours per day for these tasks, which sum up to around 400 hours of preparation time for the entire school year. But if there is only one set of competencies issued by DepEd, by which our students are to be measured, then why can't we have a single set of instructional materials, coupled with auto-graded assessments, and interactive and gamified learning activities that teachers coming from different schools around the country can use to effectively reduce their workload and free up much of their time for their family and personal lives? We bring you Cerebro, an e-learning solution that comes with ready-made instructional contents that teachers can just pull out from the platform to jumpstart their online teaching, and even interactive simulations that provide realistic virtual laboratory experiments to keep students engaged with learning the fun way. A video conferencing integration is also available, so teachers can easily start synchronous sessions right within the platform, while students with connectivity issues can download the printable modules so they can continue learning even when they are offline. School administrators can monitor what's happening in their virtual campus, examine the system's usage data, and determine end users' performance. Parents can see their children's activity scores and check their login times as well. So, if you are looking for the best solution for making teaching easier for all, schedule a call with our e-learning specialist now.